Hey, how's it going? It is day 72. I delivered 7 bags for breakfast today, which brings me to a total of 704 meals that I have made and delivered by hand. Which is crazy, right? So when I started the project, it was hard, I've mentioned this before, but it was like coronavirus lockdown, and I live in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, and it was just like a desolate scene out there. And there were, the normal passersby who were available to give a sandwich or $1 coming out of the subway, or even to leave a half-eaten, discarded sandwich in the trash or whatever. None of that existed. So people who live on the street had nothing to live off of. And the weather was crappy, and it was just like a really harsh scene. That's what initiated this project in the first place and why I started. It was super hard, of course. I don't think anyone imagines it's very easy, but I'm a single person walking up. I probably weigh like 110 pounds, and I'm walking up to strangers, some of them afflicted with abuse, substance abuse issues, some mental health issues, some just um, antisocial or skeptical of who I am and why I'm approaching them. So it was really difficult in the beginning. And I cried a lot of days, not just because it was hard for me, but because of what I was seeing other people experience, and just, it was a lot. Then it got easier at a little point because I started to build relationships, and I kind of got a little groove going, and it was exhausting, but the day-to-day being out there, I was really consistent, so I was seeing some improvement. People really responded. Like, some people sobered up on their own, went from like being literally urinating on the park bench when I walked up to try and give them a meal, to now sober, cleaned up, speaking to passersby and like making friends. And anyway, then I went to not being able to be as consistent anymore because I went back to work full time, and some people fell off a little bit. And and it's hard, and it's hard again. And I went out on a Sunday a few days ago, and I'm not usually out on a Sunday. I usually work, and I had to take off of work. And it was weird. It was kind of a ghost town. Like, a lot of the spots were empty, including one of the parks I hit up all the time. And then some of the people I did see, like one guy was just a mess. Like, he had just been jumped, and I think he had his arm broken and stuff, maybe even. And he just physically was like dirty. And he's somebody I have just seen, unfortunately, like really deteriorate over the last handful of months. And today, when I was out, I had an opportunity to speak to some of the other buddies about him, and about some other of the community, some of the individuals we know, and what they go through, and what they're currently going through, and what their status is. And like, there's one woman, for example, that I see in the park, and I adore her daughter. And the woman is cool on the day she's cool, but then on the day she's not, she's super not. And one day I saw her coming at her daughter, who's maybe like 7 years old, like she was a grown woman, like they were gonna throw down. Thankfully, there was another woman who got in between them. But anyway, they were telling me today that she went into the hospital for a while, and now she's on medication and seems kind of like a zombie, unfortunately. But they think that she has bipolar disorder, and I can relate. Like, to be perfectly frank, I have bipolar 2 disorder, to be specific, which I honestly think it sounds like she might have. And it's great that she's finally getting treated, but it sounds like it's a mismatch, the meds. And I had a similar experience in the past, and it was super traumatic and just took me out of my life. So it's like one step forward, but also, whatever, not hitting the mark. And I kind of want to advocate for her more, but she and I weren't super tight. Um, I don't know. And there's always like, how much is my place to step in? But I feel for her, and I feel like all of the people in these various situations, it's hard. On Sunday I saw another guy that had gone into a shelter a few months back, and I was glad for him. And now that I saw him back again, he immediately started telling me, like, hey, I'm back. I had to leave the shelter because people are doing drugs there and they're on dope and they're gonna get sick and this and that. But I'm not on drugs, and look at me, I'm all filled out, I'm clean, and this and that, and talking. Then he's like, mile a minute talking, bouncing from topic to topic every 10 seconds. I think it was like 15 minutes before I could even like cram a word in. And he was, in my opinion, in my non-expert opinion, he was on drugs, which sucks because I actually don't think he was before. And anyway, it's just, everyone's situation, it changes all the time. And I just, like, without being consistent out there, it's so hard for me to affect people on a greater level. And I wish I could. I've seen the benefit when I can, and then when I can't, it's like, it hurts. But then on some pluses, sorry, I know I'm rambling, it's a long video, but on some pluses, one of the guys I saw today is like one of my soft spots, and I don't see him as often when I go out. And I asked him how he's doing, and he's like, he's ill. I don't think he's well. I don't think he has substance abuse issues. He's never, in my experience, seemed intoxicated in any way. He's very slight. He's a small guy, and so kind and gentle, and I just adore him. And I gave him what I could today, and like I saw him, and he just was so genuine about wanting to return everything that I've given him, and wish good things for me. And some of the other guys I saw today, who I might even go back out to bring some extra stuff I have for them. They're like, we'll be looking for you, and I know they do, and they care. They ask me about my life, and if I say something's going on, like I tore my shoulder out the other day or whatever, they care, and then they're in it, like, well, what are you doing in your life? And I don't know, whatever, like, just it's a lot. It's so many really difficult moments, things that are so hard to see or hard to know or hard not to be able to help. And then there's so many great moments where people are telling you, like, you have no idea, like, the things that you've done for me, what they've meant, what they've meant. Or even the guy who came back from the shelter, who I think is, like, a little bit in a situation right now. He said, like, I think about those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, like, all the time. Sorry. Anyway, so I'll wrap it. It was a really long video, my bad. But, still trying to make this work, trying to find a source of the ready-to-eat food that I can have delivered to Crown Heights so I can bring it out in the neighborhood, to make this more sustainable, because it's just really hard the way it is now, just doing it all on my own. Anyway, thank you so much. I'm really grateful to be able to do it when I do it. And I hope you all stay well, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.